Hello YouTubers, Tross here, playing some more Kerbal Space Program. Still going through the scenarios. Last time we did the asteroid redirect mission ready to capture scenario. And we also did the EVA in Kerbin orbit and actually managed to land really close to Kerbal Space Center. Just off the coast. Probably if I would have done a little redirecting or even maybe tilting us as we were re-entering the atmosphere, we could have landed even closer. But now I'm going to look at the Impending Impact scenario. The Moon 7 flyby spacecraft is heading straight for an impact with the Moon. See if you can avoid a catastrophe and get Jebediah home. Alright, let's try that out. Okay, here we are. Looks like we got a little bit of fuel. And some monopropellant. Oh, we don't even have monopropellant. Well, we have monopropellant. We don't have any RCS thrusters. Alright. Since acting early saves fuel, the earlier we can act, the more fuel we'll save. Alright, it looks like we're going to come in and kind of wrap around the moon, except we're going to be launched off into space. And except we're going to be too low to the moon to wrap around. At some point, we are impacting the surface. So there's a few things we can try. Definitely what would be most energy efficient, I think, would be increasing our velocity. Looks like we're decreasing. We increase our velocity. Well, I still don't see a... Let's get this up here. There we go. We finally got a periapsis. How much would we actually need? Can I get that to stay? Yes, I can get that to stay up. Look at that. To get in the atmosphere. Well, that's a lot of meters per second. How much to just get a periapsis? $12 is good, and that's only 42 meters per second. And then, once we're on this crazy orbit, we can do a different burn and maybe get home. The only question is, can we, do we have the, ooh, very light ship here. Do we have the, why are you, you're not at our target. Do we have the Delta V? I'm assuming we do, but let's find out. I'm going to do this early because really the earlier we do this, the further from the moon we'll be. I'm just going to say activate. And you know what? We definitely have 22 seconds worth of fuel here. 22. We have the fuel. Wrong button. 100X. Hit C accidentally. Use a little more fuel, but we basically used about 1.5 units of fuel. And that got us 40 meters per second. And yes, we're going to pass the moon. So let's time warp closer. Let's actually there we go. Point our one solar cells towards the sun so we can charge up. How much? Let's just warp here. So while it looked like a loopy thing, we're gonna come around and real close to periapsis here. Now, I know from Scott Manley's videos, if you don't watch his videos, you probably should, if you want to know about Kerbal Space Program. There's such a thing called the Oberth effect, which basically states the faster you are moving, the more efficient or a greater change in delta V you're going to get from your thrust. So while that generally means performing maneuvers near Kerbin or near Joule or near a big object are more efficient than performing the same maneuver away from the object, being really close to the surface of the moon is going to give us somewhat of an Oberth effect, at least more than where we just performed our maneuver. So I want to see if slowing down here... See, that's another 40. And it gets us closer to Kerbin. Can we... can we get... Oh, we can. Let's can we get that up? There we go. But that's... It's 170 to get us down to 35. Which... we probably have... maybe not. 40 was about 1.5 units. So 80 would be 3. We have maybe 120. Maybe a bit more than that. I don't think we have 170. Cancel that. Eventually we'll be out here. If we slow down then... Really? Slowing down then... It's going to save us a bit. But not that much. Let's actually get that down to 35. $170.4. Let's... would there be something else that would be more efficient? Well, going in this direction doesn't seem to be that much more efficient. That's interesting. I thought that was slowing down, but we actually may need to speed up. What if we do a combination? Like, we do 40 in this direction. Invert, please. Alright, looks like maybe a combination actually might be better. But finding the right mix is difficult. That's down to 150-ish. That might have been the best. And I don't know what it was exactly. We may have 150. Well, let's try it and see what we get, and we can always get out and push. I'm gonna say warp here, and then we'll get all set from the maneuver. Okay. We want to start about 40 seconds. Yeah, why aren't you? You're not lining up correctly. Bit hard to see, but we are going to be speeding up here and going somewhat radial out. We are using a bit of electric charge to hold position, but it's not too much. Hopefully this will have the rocket the most visible. And hopefully we have 151 meters per second left in the tank. Not sure how much we need to just hit the atmosphere, but I'm sure it's like 145 at least to hit the atmosphere at all. If we can hit the atmosphere at all, we'll eventually get back, but it may take quite a few orbits, especially if we're just barely grazing the upper atmosphere. And just about 5 more seconds, and let's go full throttle. Get this down to 75 by the time we hit 2. And I'm not sure if we'll make it or not still. You know, it's starting to look like we may just barely make it. It's on that point. Not so sure. I don't think we are making it. I could have kept on the point a little better. Not sure which we... Well, here comes the sun. Let's get on your rocket pack here. Can we change the way you're facing? I thought they always orient the way you're facing. I have no idea how much this is helping, or if it is even helping. But hey, we have EVA fuel, or monopropellant, so might as well use it. I'm gonna stop when we get about half a unit left and use the rest of the board. I don't want to risk not being able to board, and then we'll check on our progress. I'm not even sure we're pushing the... well, pushing roughly the correct direction, but it's no means exact. Wondering if I just was a little more efficient initially. Start off with a lower orbit around the moon and kept us pointing at the marker a little more accurately than I did if we would have just barely made it. Alright, we're coming up on half a unit of fuel. Alright. Now you kind of oriented more. Turn on our lights. And there's the door. Grab board. That should refuel us. Although we still seem to have 10. We're also... Get rid of that. Oh! I think that did work, because we have an apoapsis, and we don't have a periapsis. Can we, warp here? There we go, away from the moon. And... now let's just time warp a little bit through this sphere of influence change. There we go. And I think we're heading, yes, we are heading back towards Kerbin. Yeah, I'm gonna just warp. I'm gonna go behind Kerbin here. Alright, we're out the other side. There we go. Oh, yes, look at that. Not that we have any fuel left, but, could probably have almost landed at Kerbal Space Center. Let's, let's make some slight changes to the staging diagram. Well, first, let's spin around, and we want to come in back first, but we also probably want to detach the engines and associated paraphernalia before we launch the parachute. Now, Kerbal Space Program did get an update since 1.0. Actually, I think it got 2. And one of them changes how parachutes work. Apparently, well, definitely previously opening up a parachute about 20 kilometers up, and you would get a really high deceleration. I believe they have changed that so that it's a more gradual deceleration as the parachute slowly opens in the thinner atmosphere up there, because it's definitely in the middle blue and not the thicker, although thinner compared to previous. So I'm gonna want to ditch these just as we're entering the atmosphere, but I don't want the parachute to activate until I know we've slowed down enough. Problem here is we're going to be making a fairly steep entry, so I'm not sure. Generally, I like to open the parachute only when we've slowed down to at least 200 meters or 300 meters per second, not when we're going over Mach 1, because that really puts a lot of stress and force and deceleration on the craft. Alright, so I am just going to time warp until we hit the atmosphere, which looks like it's about now. And at this point, let's get rid of this stage. we go. And since it's much lighter, look at that, it flies way back because it's being decelerated. It looks like the min-miss just setting. Moon is behind us where we've just come from. And let's I turn this I want to turn this way, and maybe we'll bend our path a little closer. Oh, we're gonna drop short for sure. No, SES can't hold us anymore. Let's just turn it off. Oh, and there's little temperature meters on things that are overheating, like these solar panels. Isn't that amazing? Let's chase camera or free auto camera. Well, we have come through that, and look at that. We are slowing down nicely. We're still over Mach 1, although not for long. And we're 10 kilometers up. Yeah, those little temperature gauges are new as well. Those are the mountains that are behind Kerbal Space Center. Yeah, they're these ones to the south. We're northwest. But, you know, we're not bad. We're probably safe for opening the parachutes. I don't know how high off the ground we are, so let's open the parachutes when we hit 4 kilometers. Just under 200 meters per second. And look at that, the G-forces didn't even hit 5, so that's great. It's how I want it to go. Don't want a big deceleration. And shortly, parachute here will open. And we are coming down nicely. Let's just do a little physics time warp until we're down on the ground. There's our shadow. And I am going to call that a complete success. What do you think, Jeb? Alright, let's well, can we not climb board, recover the vessel? And hopefully this will give me... Alright, let's quit to main menu. So I think that completes that scenario. Let's see, moon orbit. Kerbal 11 mission is on low moon orbit. This mission is comprised of 2 docked vehicles, the lander module and the command module. The lander module is undocked from the command module, flies down to land, and then returns to orbit, where the command module will rendezvous and dock with it. After that, the lander is discarded, and the crew leaves orbit to return home. Alright, let's do this scenario. Alright, I'm assuming this is the command module and this is the lander. Okay, we have just no one in here, so let's hit. I always forget which guy is the engineer. Bill's the engineer, Bob is the scientist. So let's Where's the door on this guy? Let's transfer Jeb and transfer Bob into the lander. And let's quickly look at... Got a fairly equatorial orbit here. So let's turn on SAS so everybody stays stable. You've got nice solar panels. We got real thermal generators, so we don't care where we land. Well, I mean, within reason. And it looks like these will pop off. So let's decouple. We don't have RCS. So we're going to have to be careful here. The command module does. Switch the command module and turn on RCS and back away. And maybe just a bit to the side. Back with the lander. That's only a few seconds away. Let's add a maneuver here. I think that will be good. It's probably not going to be a long burn. So I'm just going to start at 10 seconds and see what happens. Of course, let's just activate the engine. This is telling us we're suborbital. I'm going to try to land in this crater here. We'll need to add another maneuver here. I really hope we have the fuel for that. So there's the Kerbal 11. This is a 1.5-minute long burn. If I point that maneuver now, and then just say stability assist. I think I will be able to say warp to maneuver and then just basically start the next maneuver and we'll be able to work it all out. Coming to a complete stop, I feel like, because you have to burn half before and half after, well, you're going to pass by where you aimed for. So that's why I'm going to start a whole minute before, basically, and we'll see what happens. So we're kind of warping here, and as soon as we slow down, we need to start slowing down. Put the landing gear down. We don't appear to have lights which is partially why I choosing to put down in this crater on the sunny side. Just hope I wind up landing on a relatively smooth part. If we could put down in here, that would be great. This is probably not the most efficient trajectory or path or whatever you want to call it for coming in. Let's stop this here, kill that maneuver, and then add a maneuver here. Basically something like that, just so we come straight down. Alright, we're just heading down here, so let's time warp a little. Yeah, we're coming for this nice flat part. Pretty good. Let's point retrograde, and it's full throttle because we're coming down quick. Kind of on the edge of this crater, kind of going way too fast, and we're kind of going to explode. Yeah, let's try that again. Back to main menu. So apparently, I have to say restart. It's nice that it saves your progress, but if you blow up like that, it should definitely blow up or kill a Kerbal. It should definitely reset automatically, I would think. Get off that, and yes. Transfer Jeb. Transfer Bob. Decouple node. RCS, back away, move off to the side so you don't collide. Let's turn off RCS, flip back, turn on SAS, plan a maneuver. Doing okay. I think I just needed to slow down earlier. As in, instead of that maneuver to try to get us more vertical, I should have done one that was not one that kept my engine facing the ground more. Alright, let's slow down here. And for that we need to activate the engine. Probably... That's okay. We're not... Well, that will probably impact the surface, because there are mountains higher than that. It's probably a bit of a safer... Let's add a maneuver here, and this time I think I'm just gonna, fully slow down instead of trying to do it in 2 steps. Let's get ready for that, and let's head for the map so we can say warp to next maneuver. So we're coming down, and all right, let's slow down. Now we are suborbital. That's not looking good, but hopefully we will pass by that. The gear down. I should have looked and see approximately what the surface altitude was. Alright, looks like we are possibly, maybe. And I'm gonna regret this, because this is what got us into trouble last time, but I'll add a maneuver here, and I'm gonna do a combination of slowing down and that's pretty close to straight. I mean, alright, it's 28, say 30, so we need to start at 15. And I should have started already. For some reason, though, I thought this would put our engine facing down more. Alright, retrograde. Full throttle, because we're done with this maneuver. We're coming down at 200 meters a second or so. Well, 150. Right on that same edge again. It's like, if I come this way more, I want to be this way more, actually. I gotta fly using... Well, I'm flying... I think we can... We want to stay about 50. Alright, I think we're in the flatter, not quite near the edge. If I go like this, that will hasten to getting this close to vertical, but also hasten our speed downward. Alright, let's put that retrograde. want to get to about 20 meters per second down. We used about half our fuel. I'm slowed up a little early. Where is our shadow? There it is. $13, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 meters per second. And slightly increasing, 8. Let's get that back down. We can definitely survive, I think, 5. Looks like we're gonna hit about 4. And cut. And we have made it down. Look at that. Jeb looks happy. Let's get Bob out on EVA. He jumped up top. Oh well. There we go. Let's take a surface sample. Keep the data. EVA report. Keep the data. Plant the flag. We landed. We just need to get back. Grab board. All right. There's the ship. If we warp until the ship is about here, we can come up and try to rendezvous. We'll be traveling faster, but we won't always be traveling directly this way. We'll be traveling up a bit. Let's switch to this. Back to the map. We are maybe 1/8 of the way around, so if I say warp here, so maybe being 1/8 of the way behind 36 by 32. Something like that. It's probably a little further behind than we need, but that's okay. We're gonna set you as our target. Let's pull this up. The important thing is reaching an orbit, any orbit, with this amount of fuel. If we can do that, we can then get the command ship to meet up with us. Don't see... Well, it's probably below the horizon. Still looks a little bit ahead of where I want it. Something like that. Alright, we are going to take off and head directly east, which is down on my nav ball. Once these are out of fuel, we can then discard them. So let's I'm gonna leave this open just so we can keep an eye on that. These should all have the same amount, yes, because they're all feeding into the center, which still is full. So when we're down to 90, that actually, I don't need to leave that open. We can see when this is down to 90, we can discard the legs and spare fuel tanks. So, let's take off in 3, 2, 1, and away we go. And almost immediately I'm going to turn over to nearly horizontal. So we need to get this up at least to 10 kilometers, so let's actually go a little higher. And then get moving fast enough to stay in orbit, but we also still need a little bit of fuel so we can raise our periapsis once we reach our apoapsis. Alright, I'm going to go a bit higher than 10. Let's say we can get it to 20. 19, 20. Let's add a maneuver and circular line. We are almost able to drop our spare tanks. Alright, that will be in orbit, actually. Alright, there is... You know, I'm just gonna, stability, sorry. I'm just gonna burn and drop those tanks now as soon as that hits. Cut. These should all be empty. Stage. They'll all impact, so they won't be a debris problem. Let's just move this maneuver here. What does that get us? I guess it's 44. Get that to stay out. I wish those could stay out. Alright, the inclination isn't quite right. We got some time. we're going to be way ahead here, so why is that? Let's just add a new maneuver here. That's pretty good. And then we'll need to adjust our ascending node. Alright, I'm gonna start about 10 seconds and do half throttle. Looks like we have an orbit and cut. A little much, but not really an issue, I don't think. I'm gonna add a maneuver here. And we need to bring down our path. That'll be pretty good. That's just a tiny burn. Let's warp to the maneuver. There is the command module following behind us. It's a bit hard to see, but yeah. Here we are. Be a very small burn. It's just so it's getting a bit close to my normal time, but I want to complete this. We're gonna call that good, I think. Alright, now here's the thing. We're pointing directly south, and that's going to be easy to dock with. So let's switch to the command module here. We have plenty of fuel here, and plenty of solar power. Well, plenty of power. We're not getting any right now. We're on the dark side. Let's set the Kerbal 11. We're still slightly off, but I don't think that will be much of a difference. We're in a slightly smaller orbit, and we're going to make it smaller still. I said, we're going to make it smaller still. Ooh, that's... Can we get closer than 1.8? 0.5, 0.6, 0.5. .4, 0.2. That's good enough for me. The burn is going to be unknown. I'm gonna start. We got a poodle on here. Poodles are very powerful. Oh, we don't even need. Poodles are very powerful. Let's start at 10 seconds and just do a little bit. We have to point at the maneuver. That helps. Doesn't help passing it by. We're going to be a little late. Let's activate the engine. .6. RCS on. Let's 0.3. You know, we're gonna 0.3 is terrific. Let's alright, the only issue is we're rendezvousing in the dark. Let's be a little safe and warp there. Alright, we're charging up. Our panels aren't in the best place, but we're 56. How did that seem? Alright, maybe it went a step down. Because we're dropping so low towards the surface. We are dropping very close to the surface, but above the highest mountains. So, yes, we're now going back up. There's where we were landed before. And we're actually closer to the landing site than we are to the ship. The lander. But that's changing. We're getting closer and closer here. Two, one. Alright, we are in target mode. We want to be facing retrograde relative to the target. And let's just tilt more vertically so our solar panels can point directly at the sun. 100 or 100% sun exposure. Of course, we're going behind the moon right now. And in about 5 minutes, we will be at our closest separation. At that point, the target should be alongside of us. So I'm just going to manually time warp here. Oh, now we just lost the sun. So we have limited power now, but we do have a big battery here, so we got power. Alright, we're getting closer and closer. Now this ship has all the RCS. So this one I'll be doing the maneuvering with. Of course, as we get closer, our direction here will change. I'm gonna come out of warp completely when we're down to 1 kilometer. and I'm going to come to a stop when we get, let's say 400, because we're supposed to come into 300. This is a powerful engine. We'll stop pretty quickly. I think we're actually doing this right. I'm going to be coming in from underneath, which is exactly what we want. Alright, I'm preparing to stop. I'm gonna wait. Alright, let's stop. 5, 4, 3. We've come to a stop. We now want to point directly at the target. And pretty much I want to be a little south of it, so we can come up from the south. From pretty much here on out, I'm going to be using RCS only, so let's enable that. Alright, and let's thrust forward at, let's get up to 4 meters per second. That will give us, let's go 3 meters per second. We're 300 meters away. That'll give us about 100 seconds. When we're 100 meters away, I want to slow down, maybe come to a stop, which means I'm going to have to stop or start stopping at least 150 meters away, because it's going to take at least 50 meters to stop. And then we can try coming more directly at the craft. Alright, slowing down. Alright, I'm going to try heading directly for the craft now. I'm going half a meter. I'm going to get that up to a meter per second. And now I'm going to use these little sideways directionals just to get us going right for it. It's hard for me to see the craft, mostly because we don't have lights. No lights. It looks like our orbits are pretty much lined up. This says we're going to be there in a minute and whatever. Oh, yeah, we've already drifted off. Let's drift back. As we are going around the planet, we are going to drift relative to each other. Clampotron docking port. Set that as the target. Alright. Seeing that we are basically pointed directly at each other, that didn't really change us much. When we get to, let's say 30 meters, we're going to slow down. So, meter per second. A little on the quick side. So down to 0.4, I wanted to go to about half a meter. Drifting off again. We're gonna drift off much quicker now because we're traveling much slower. 14 meters. It says 40 seconds. Of course, we're drifting off. I'm not sure if that's just because I'm flipping to the map or what exactly. Alright, turning off RCS. We have contacted. Turn off SAS. And we have docked. Alright. Let's get these guys home. We're gonna, as the scenario said, leave this. Let's turn SAS back on. Capsule, the lander, in orbit. Because it's too much weight to bring home. We'll just take Jeb and transfer him over. And then we'll get out of here. Bob will go on EVA. He will take all the data. He will now kind of just float up here. Oop, no, back. I wanted down, but down is relative. Grab. Forward. A little light now. Where is that light coming from then? It wasn't there a minute ago. Oh well. Let's undock, as we should have all our guys. Yep, we have all our guys. Turn on RCS and back away. Oh, yep. There's two different, and we'll add a maneuver here. Okay, so we're leaving that in kind of a low, wonky orbit, but that's all right. Can we get that to stay up? Yes, we can. 20 is probably a little low. Oop. 35 is pretty good, I found. 31 will do. And that's a not that big of a burn. Why is this showing two engines? Where is this? This is this. Where is this engine? I don't know. Anyway, we have this burn coming up in about 13 minutes. Let's point at the maneuver node. Well, we'll find that engine eventually, I guess. Let's warp to next maneuver. Here we are, back out in the sun again. Let's get our solar panels facing the sun again. That should be much better. There we go. Alright, who cares about exact timings? Let's just get this burn done. There goes the lander. We're leaving it behind. We're heading back to Kerbin here. And that should indicate we have left lunar influence. I think we overdid the burn slightly. And again, that'll be good. Turn off RCS. Let us time warp away. Here we go. We are leaving the moon behind. Alright, now we are approaching Kerbin. How's this looking? Well, we're gonna fly past Kerbal Space Center. It's just over the horizon here, but we're gonna be far on the other side before we even hit periapsis, so I'll pass it by. In fact, we're going to be over it just as we enter the atmosphere. There it is there. Not quite in the atmosphere yet. Let's retract these panels. These case panels now are retractable, whereas the one without cases aren't. Not that retracting the panels are really going to do anything, because we're getting rid of this stage. Let's do that now. Never did find that other engine. Not under there. I think that just was some weird issue. We still have the battery, so we have plenty of power. We'll have power until we're back on the ground, or in the ocean as it will probably turn out to be. Although we do have a slight chance of landing there. I'm not going to bet on it. We're in the atmosphere. Let's go to the free camera. There we go. Here's Kerbal Space Center. And we're passing high overhead. Going almost 3.2 kilometers a second. And we're beginning to slow down now. Our hypothesis is coming in. And we are getting re-entry effects. Now we have 3 parachutes, and they should be shielded. And they're, oh, this one isn't quite. There we go. That's a little better. Let's see, retrograde. Can we hold retrograde? That will keep the parachutes from overheating. Yeah, we're not gonna be coming back out. We're also not gonna reach land. There's that piece of land, but we're too low, I think. And we still are. You know, we're not gonna head back up. So we'll be close, but we're gonna be off the shore. We're not gonna make it that far. Don't think. We're still traveling very fast, though. In the past, we definitely would have made it that far, but I don't really have that much experience with this thinner atmosphere. Our rate of descent has dropped. You know, with this thinner atmosphere, I think we actually may reach this land, especially if I can strategically open the parachutes just as we're crossing the coast there. I'm not sure at what altitude. If they open at 25, we'll make it. If they open at 20, I'm not sure we'll be low enough. We do have 3 of them, so they should slow us down pretty rapidly if they do open. Let's we have slowed down to about a kilometer. Alright, they'll open when they'll open, apparently. They've been activated. Wouldn't you know it? And if I would have opened them right here, the guys would have probably made it. Or let's say here, 10 kilometers, because now we're going slower. Well, it's been nice knowing you guys. I'm not gonna redo this whole scenario. If I was trying to be safe and not trying to land on the land, these guys would have survived easily. You know, 10 kilometers going less than 300. I don't see why that would have been a problem. 20 kilometers going kilometer a second. Yeah. 1.0 instead of 1.02 as I'm playing right now, they also would have survived. Would have had really big high G shock. It's just that I'm not used to the changes that they made, and by Oh well. Yes, the vessel was destroyed. Well, that was Impending Impact and Moon Orbit. Maybe we'll try Station 1. Where's that screenshot from? Because there hasn't been a launch tower, and the VAB hasn't looked like that for quite a while. So I'm not sure where that screenshot's from. But it's a pretty old screenshot. We'll probably do this one next time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys then with some more Kerbal Space Program. Thanks for watching. Bye, Jeb.